Greetings, family, and I give all praise and great glory to only the Almighty Most High Creator. When the Almighty comes back and lifts our captivity, we are going to go back to Zion in 3 different groups, in 3 different waves. Now, with this video, I'm going to show you those 3 different groups. I'm going to talk about the first group and go into a little bit more detail. So, Zephaniah 3:18-20. This is the first group that is going to leave out of the nations, and I believe that's going to be America and the UK, but I'll get into that. This is the first group. So Zephaniah 3:18-20. And I will gather thine afflicted ones. And we'll talk about that later. Alas, who has taken up a reproach against her? Behold, I will work in thee for thy sake at that time, saith the Almighty. And I will save her that was oppressed, and receive her that was rejected. And I will make them a praise and honored in all the earth. And their enemies shall be ashamed at that time, when I shall deal well with you, and at the time when I shall receive you. For I will make you honored and a praise among all the nations of the earth, when I turn back your captivity before you, saith the Almighty. So this is the first group. The second group, Jeremiah 50:4-5, and I read, In those days and at that time the children of Yasharel shall come, they and the children of Judah together. They shall proceed, weeping as they go, seeking the Almighty, their power. Excuse me. They shall ask the way till they come to Zion. For that way shall they set their face, and they shall come and flee for refuge to the Almighty their power. For the everlasting covenant shall not be forgotten. So here's the second group. Okay, and it says that that Judah and Yasharal will go seeking the Almighty. And they are going to ask, which way is Zion? This first group and Zephaniah 3 are going to be gathered by the Almighty and led out. They're not going to ask where Zion is. The Almighty is going to take them there. So, Jeremiah 50 is the second group, and the third group is this, Isaiah 66:18-21, and I read, And I know their works and their imagination. I am going to gather all nations and tongues. Nations are not just land masses, they are also people. So the Almighty is going to grab people of the different nations, strangers, and they'll have different tongues. And they shall come and see my glory, and I will leave a sign upon them, and I will send them forth, them that have escaped of them, to the nations. Now right here it says that the Almighty is going to gather all different peoples and different tongues. And then he's going to put a sign upon them and send them back to the nations. Now we're going to skip down here, and to the isles afar off, to those who have not heard my name nor seen my glory, and they shall declare my glory among the Gentiles. So they're going to be sent back with a sign, and they are going to declare the glory of the Almighty. And they shall bring your brethren out of all nations for a gift to the Almighty, with horses and chariots and litters drawn by mules and awnings, to the holy city of Jerusalem, saith the Almighty, as though the children of Yasharal should bring their sacrifices to me with psalms into the house of the Almighty. and I will take of them priests and Levites, saith the Almighty. So, once again, the Almighty is going to gather different strangers with different tongues. He's going to put a sign on them. They're going to go back to the nations. They are going to declare the glory of the Almighty, and then they are going to bring back our brethren, and the Almighty is going to make priests and Levites out of them. So those are the three different groups, and the three different, I'll say, migration patterns going back to Zion. Now, I had said that we were going to talk about this group, the first group, the afflicted ones. So let's look up the definition of afflicted. To cause grievous physical or mental suffering to strike or cast down, to overthrow, to inflict some great injury or hurt upon, causing continued pain or mental distress, to trouble grievously, to torment, to make low or humble. To me, this describes America. And America has the highest concentration of Negroes that are being afflicted right now, or the seed of Jacob. Okay? We are the ones right now that are being most afflicted. Now, some of us believe that America is Babylon. I'm going to show you that America is not Babylon, but the daughter of Babylon. So, Isaiah 47, 1 and 5. And I read, "Come down, sit on the ground, O virgin daughter of Babylon. Sit on the ground, O daughter of the Chaldeans. For thou shalt no more be called tender and luxurious." That sounds like America. 5. "Sit thou down, pierced with woe. Go into darkness, O daughter of the Chaldeans, daughter of Babylon. Thou shalt no more be called the strength of a kingdom." Okay. The kingdom is the British Kingdom, the British Empire, now known as the UK. The British Empire sent out from the mothership, Britain, their people to colonize every nation in the world except 20. They are still colonizing more nations than any other nation. Each one of these colonies would be a daughter of Great Britain, because that's the source. We know that America, like I said, the people that are here are the ones that came from Britain. So this is a daughter of Babylon. And there's only one that fits the description of the strength of a kingdom. The kingdom is Britain, Great Britain. Okay. The strength is America. America is the one that goes on many waters, which is another description of the daughter of Babylon. They're on many waters, but they have not colonized like the British Empire. So America, to me, from what I read, is the daughter of Babylon. Now the Almighty tells us, shows us, that the seed of Jacob is going to be here in the daughter of Babylon when he comes back. Zechariah 2, 6 and 7. "Ho, ho, flee from the land of the north, saith the Almighty, for I will gather you from the four winds of heaven, saith the Almighty, even to Zion. Deliver yourselves, ye that dwell with the daughter of Babylon." So that shows right there that we will be here, obviously, when all of this cracks off. And let me see. Lost my place here. All right. So, it says, deliver yourselves. And you look at us here in America. We African Americans are still divided. We have no army. And the Almighty has not come back. So how are we going to deliver ourselves out of the daughter of Babylon? Let me show you. Isaiah 43:2 shows us that the seed of Jacob, when the Almighty comes back and lifts our captivity, will be drowned-proof and fire-proof. Neither one will kill us. We will be immortal. Isaiah 54:17 shows us that it doesn't matter what weapon our enemies have created. It doesn't matter. They will not harm us. They will not kill us because we'll be immortal. Psalms 149 shows us that the seed of Jacob is going to execute vengeance on the nations and punishments among the people. They're going to have the high praises of the Almighty in their throat and two-edged swords in their hands. And then we have Jeremiah 51:20 and 21. And I'm going to break this down 2025 style. So, I read, Thou scatterest for me the weapons of war, seed of Jacob, and I will scatter nations by thee, and will destroy kings by means of thee. And by thee I will scatter the horse and his rider, and by thee I will scatter chariots, and them that ride in them. Here in 2025, our enemy does not roll around in horses and chariots. That would be Hummers and tanks and armored vehicles and the like. So let me give you a scenario of this scripture here. Imagine the Almighty came back and you've been commanded to hop in your tank and try to stop the enemy. So you're in your tank, and the tank is in a battalion. A couple of miles away, there's an African American running at you, a Negro, and he's happy. And he's not running real fast, he's jogging, he's taking his time, and he's got double-edged swords in his hand. Okay? Your tank is fully loaded, and you are unloading everything on this happy African American running at you. You are hitting him with all of the munitions that are in the tank, and he is not breaking stride. He's happy, he's singing, double-edged swords in his hand, and he's still coming at you. So now some systems won't fire, and you're out of ammo and other things. What are you going to do? Are you going to stay in that tank? No. You're going to get out of that tank, and you are going to run in a different direction, away from that Negro or that African American, praying that he does not divert course and start chasing you. And then you're going to hop in a vehicle, and you are going to get as far away from that African American that you can. Okay? Now, I said that you are in a tank and there's a battalion with you. All the other tanks, they see this happy African American with double-edged swords running at them, or running at your tank. They see this. Okay, they're also putting ammo on him, and nothing is happening. Do you think that those tanks are going to stay there? Because after that African American is done, it's next. No one wants to be next. So, Jeremiah 51:21, and by thee I will scatter the horse and his rider, and by thee I will scatter tanks and them that ride in them. But it gets better. Not only are we going to be bulletproof, fireproof, waterproof, we're going to have giants. Isaiah 13:3 shows us that the Almighty's giants are coming. That's one group of three. Isaiah 45 shows us that the Sabians, men of stature, which are giants, are going to come to us bound in chains, and they are going to give supplication to us, and they are going to be our servants. So that's group 2 of giants that are going to be with us as we walk out. So we have all of that. And that is how we are going to deliver ourselves out of the daughter of Babylon. But it gets better. Psalms 82, I'm going to read 1 and 6. The Almighty stands in the assembly of small gods, and in the midst of them will judge small gods. And who are these gods? 6. I have said, ye are small gods, and all of you children of the Most High, but ye die as men. This is talking about now. The Almighty is calling us gods now, because gods don't die, but we die as men right now. So, not only is there everything that I showed you or pointed out to you in the video, not only are the giants and our superpowers, but this is part of our superpowers. We're going to be small gods amongst men. And the Almighty is going to take off our expiration date, and we're going to be immortal. So, Zechariah 2 tells us to deliver ourselves. I'll ask you this question. How do you stop a god? The return of the gods. All praise to only the Almighty, Most High Creator, our one and only Savior. Have a beautiful day, family, and may the Almighty continue to keep His face turned towards you and your families.